Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare a recess at any time. Again, I welcome you here today to discuss this very important issue. Last year, 62,000 Americans died from drug overdoses. That's a staggering number. More than died in both Vietnam and Iraq wars combined. The opioid crisis is the deadliest drug epidemic in American history, and it only continues to worsen. In my home state of Georgia, opioids are the main cause of overdose deaths. Almost as many Georgians die annually from drug overdose as do from car accidents. In 2015, 55 of the counties in Georgia out of 159 counties had a higher drug overdose rate than the U.S. average. That is a significant uptick from just 11 years ago when only 26 Georgia counties were higher than the U.S. average. In May, a mass overdose swept through Georgia. It took a lot of the hearts and emotions of the people of Georgia. There were 4 people who died within a 48-hour period of time by taking pills that they thought were Percocet. Tragically, this is only one example of the many incidents that have occurred in recent years due to our country's insatiable desire for drugs. While the United States makes up about 5% of the world's population, we consume an overwhelming share of the world's pain medication. With any drug epidemic, supply reduction is an essential element to drug control, be it domestic or international. When it comes to our nation's opioid epidemic, the ability to purchase drugs with just one click of a computer and have those drugs brought to this country is easy for most anyone to accomplish. Americans are now able to easily purchase powerful synthetic opioids, particularly from China, and have them shipped straight to their doorstep here in the United States via the United States Postal Service. Despite the billions of dollars our country spends each year on personnel, technology, and infrastructure to protect our southern borders, the U.S. Postal Service allows international packages to enter our country virtually unchecked. Because the U.S. Postal Service is not required to follow the same customs standards as its private competitors, it's become an attractive courier for international drug traffickers. With the rise of e-commerce, the volume of inbound international mail has exploded to hundreds of millions of pieces each year. This massive volume, coupled with lax security standards, has created a significant security weakness, which often results in a failure to detect drugs shipped through the Postal Service. So today we're going to learn about how the U.S. Postal Service lax security standards have led to an influx of illicit drugs entering our country. We'll also explore ways in which the U.S. Postal Service can close that security gap between the mail service and the private competitors. The U.S. Postal Service has already taken steps for which we're grateful, such as increased collection of electronic advanced data to heighten the security of inbound international mail. They have also embarked on pilot programs in partnership with CBP to target certain mail for inspection. And while these pilot programs are a step in the right direction, the Postal Inspector General and GAO have found that there is substantial room for improvement. So we look forward to their testimony here today. We will also hear from CBP and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service about procedures that have been effective in thwarting contraband from entering our country, as well as what procedures could be effective in the future. The majority of illicit synthetic opioids from China enter the United States via the Postal Service under the terms governed by the United Nations Universal Postal Union Treaty. Today, we'll hear from the State Department about international efforts to stop illicit drugs from being sent through the mail. As the number of Americans overdosing and dying from these drugs continues to rise, it's important that we act now. So I look forward to hearing from our witnesses today as we explore how we can work together to stop the supply of illicit drugs entering our country and better fight our nation's drug epidemic.